After drafting a point guard in the top 10 last year, the Cleveland Cavaliers decided to draft another one this year as they took Vanderbilt point guard Darius Garland with the 5th pick. The Cavaliers must believe that Darius Garland could be a special player, and this was a selection they had to make. He only played 5 games as a freshman, but in those limited games, he showed what kind of range he had on his jump shot. Garland has a terrific handle and excellent footwork that allows him to be a good creator off the dribble. He averaged 16 points per game and shot 48% from three-point range. But I worry about the fit with Collin Sexton. Both guards are more known for their scoring than passing and running an offense. Garland projects as a better playmaker than Sexton, but that may not be saying a whole lot. Playing together could stunt the growth of both players, as they will be more focused on looking for their shots for the most part. But the part of the game they will struggle the most at is on the defensive end. Most young players always struggle to defend coming into the league, and you add to the fact that they will be an undersized backcourt, it could lead to the Cavaliers being one of the worst defensive teams in the league. I expect the Cavaliers to explore trading Collin Sexton at some point in the near future. The Cavaliers went with the three-point specialist with the 26th pick as they drafted Dylan Windler out of Belmont. The Cavaliers were 29th in the NBA in true shooting percentage, and only 8 NBA teams made less three-pointers per game last season. Shooting is definitely needed with this team. Windler shot over 40% from 3 in his 4-year career at Belmont and averaged 21 points per game as a senior. His shooting will open up driving lanes with players like Collin Sexton and Darius Garland. Windler is a willing passer and a good rebounder for his position. He actually averaged almost 11 rebounds per game last season. Most scouts look at Windler as a solid rotation player coming off the bench, but if he can be solid on defense, I could see him starting for the Cavaliers in a couple of years. The Cavaliers traded 4 second-round picks and sent $5 million to the Pistons for the right to draft USC guard Kevin Porter Jr. This was my favorite pick for the Cavaliers. Kevin Porter Jr. could be a special scorer in this league. Teams had questions about his character, but there's no way he should have dropped to the last pick of the first round. He literally has all the tools to be an all-star in this league. His ability to create his own shot is second to none in this draft. You don't need a player in college to average 20 points per game to feel good about their scoring potential in the NBA. You need to at least see flashes of what he can do and take into account how many minutes he's playing and how young the player is. A player like Devin Booker only played 20 minutes per game at Kentucky and averaged only 10 points per game, and now he's one of the best scorers in the NBA. Kevin Porter only averaged 9.5 points per game, but he was efficient from the field as he had an effective field goal clip of 56% and shot 41% from three-point range. He'll have to put in the work to be the player he's supposed to be. My NBA draft grade for the Cleveland Cavaliers is a B-. The Milwaukee Bucks made a move that was motivated by clearing cap space with a number of key players that will be free agents this summer. The Bucks traded Tony Snell and his contract, along with the 30th pick to the Detroit Pistons for John Lure. This move will save the Bucks $4 million this upcoming year, and they won't have Snell's $12 million salary on the books the season after. Both players involved were basically non-factors this past season. Tony Snell could play a more significant role with the Pistons, but nothing is really expected with these two players next season. The Milwaukee Bucks sacrificed a potentially young and talented prospect in favor of creating more cap space. I understand the move, but the Bucks need more talented scorers around Giannis. A player like Kevin Porter Jr. and Bol was available for them to grab at 30. My NBA draft grade for the Milwaukee Bucks is a C+. The Indiana Pacers drafted the most polished big man in the draft in Goga Bitadze with the 18th pick. He is coming off a breakout year overseas at the age of 19. Bitadze has natural scoring ability around the basket and has extended his shooting range to the three-point line. He excels playing out of ball screens, whether it's rolling to the rim or popping out beyond the three-point line. He's been an excellent shot blocker over the last couple of years and could be a force in the NBA. But he doesn't operate well in space and will have trouble defending the pick and roll. Bitadze is a mature offensive player who plays with a lot of passion. He is a good prospect, but I'm not sure he's a good fit with the Indiana Pacers. They are already set at their center position with Miles Turner and Domantas Sabonis. The Pacers had a serious need at the guard and wing position, especially with Victor Oladipo sidelined. Maybe the Pacers are planning not to extend Sabonis when he becomes a restricted free agent after next season. But it was still an odd selection and didn't address a position of need. The Indiana Pacers capitalized on the Phoenix Suns' incompetence as they basically just gave away a legit scorer in TJ Warren to the Pacers, and they also added a second-round pick. The Pacers ended up flipping that pick into 3 future second-round picks from the Miami Heat, but adding TJ Warren scoring to the roster is a huge plus. And his $10 million a year salary seems like a fair price for what he provides. He's still only 25, and last season he averaged 18 points and 4 rebounds while shooting 49% from the field and 43% from 3. But there are injury concerns as he only played 43 games this past season with a right ankle injury. Going from a bad organization to a good one could do wonders for any player. The Indiana Pacers could bring the best out of TJ Warren. He just has to stay healthy. My NBA draft grade for the Indiana Pacers is a C+. There are sources that believe that the Pistons ranked Sekou Doumbouya as a top 10 talent in the draft, and they were able to scoop him up at number 15. Doumbouya has only been playing the game of basketball for 6 years, but he has spent the last 3 playing in the top league in France. He is a young athletic forward with good upside. He has the talent and size to play both forward spots and has a body frame that can only get better and stronger. Doumbouya can put the ball on the floor and attack the basket. Sekou has nice form on his jump shot, and his shot is only getting better every year. It's felt like the Pistons have been playing it safe with their first-round picks the last couple of years, but this year, they finally took a player with great upside that they can develop. The Pistons got lucky with this pick and could potentially have a stud with the 15th pick. They traded for the 37th pick from the Dallas Mavericks and acquired Lithuanian forward Deividas Sirvydis. He's a lefty who has some offensive potential. Sirvydis is tall and lanky and is a good outside shooter. He needs to work on his foot speed on defense as he doesn't project as a good defender in the NBA. He's a prospect that could be stashed overseas for a couple of years before signing with the Pistons. And with their last selection, they drafted the Tennessee point guard Jordan Bone, who you could say is one of the most athletic players in the draft. Bone has good size at 6'3", 180 pounds to go along with his athleticism. Taking a chance on a player like Bone is a good decision late in the second round. He still needs to work on his outside shooting and decision making. Playing in the G League could eliminate those weaknesses. I could see Jordan Bone as a backup point guard in 2 or 3 years. My grade for the Detroit Pistons is a B. For the 3rd straight year, the Chicago Bulls had an excellent draft, and that's what I have in the top 5 pick, which is even more impressive. I believe the Bulls drafted one of the 2 best point guards in the draft with North Carolina guard Coby White. He is just as good of a scorer as Darius Garland, but he's also a bigger player. He stands around 6'5", 190 pounds, and he played over 30 games last season. As the competition got better, his game grew and he answered the challenge. The competition in the ACC and NCAA tournament didn't stop Coby from delivering amazing performances throughout the year. Coby is an attack-first point guard who puts constant pressure on the opposing guard, but he also showed at North Carolina down the stretch that he could be a good distributor on the next level. Coby loves to push the pace and will be a nice fit to a player like Zach LaVine. Even though a lot of people are down on Chris Dunn, his defense will be needed this upcoming season. Coby White has the size and quickness to be a good defender, but he's not there yet. Lucky number 7 seems to be a theme for the Bulls in the draft, as they have had the 7th pick for the 3rd straight year, and it looks like they nailed another great draft pick. Once looked at as a first-round pick, Daniel Gafford slid to the 2nd round, right into the hands of the Chicago Bulls at the 38th pick. This is great value at this spot. Backup center was also a position of need for the Bulls, and they have an athletic defensive anchor in Daniel Gafford. The 6'11" big man has the defensive skills and tenacity that projects well for the next level. He made the SEC All-Defensive team in both of his seasons with the Razorbacks. Gafford is an efficient scorer on the inside and loves to finish at the rim. He's a good roll man in the pick and roll and can get up and down the floor. He doesn't have much of an outside shot at this point, but when you have a player coming off the bench that can protect the rim and score in the paint, Outside shooting is not needed initially to get decent minutes as a rookie. My NBA draft grade for the Chicago Bulls is an A-.